I'm going to apologize for not seeing you. I lost my way, and I needed help, and I didn't know who to turn to. And I came to a place where I felt like I didn't want to be here anymore. But by you praying and for God to step in to bring me back here, even when I didn't think there was any way. So I'm sorry for hurting you. And I mean that. I love you. Yeah.
What's going on, world? My name is Dean.
And my name's Nicky.
And you are officially tuned into the Black King, Black Queen podcast, where we explore a variety of topics, questions, and pressing thoughts. Our goal is to inspire, encourage, and educate every listener by having meaningful conversations surrounding Black love, Black excellence, and Black legacy.
With every unique discussion, we unpack the good, the bad, and the ugly that most individuals will experience while on this journey called life.
At the core, our message is to choose purpose over fear. We encourage every listener to let go of whatever has been holding them back and step into their individual purpose on purpose.
As well, we express the importance of taking this step because there is always someone who could benefit from a lived experience. So, in the words of my husband, there's an entire audience out there waiting on your yes.
So we challenge you to choose purpose over fear today. Now let's get into this episode. Let's get it. Let's go. Yeah.
How we feeling? Talk to me. How we feeling? It's minus 20 degrees outside, but we inside. How we feeling? All right, that's what's up. You may be seated. You may be seated. You may be seated. You guys got me all the way amped. First and foremost, we just want to say thank you guys for coming out tonight. It means so much to us, understanding the vision that we had, to see everybody pull up in minus 20 degree weather and show up like this. First of all, I just want to say, it was 8:09, and I said doors open at 8 o'clock, and I saw about 75% of the room full. I was like, wow, this is breaking news. I have never in my life seen this. Black people were on time. Put your hands together just for that. Put your hands together just for that. I also, could we put our hands together for my beautiful wife, Nicky?
And so I want to say hi, hello, and welcome everybody to our very first live podcast show. Woo! You guys don't know how beautiful you guys look tonight. Oh my God, baby, don't they look good?
They look good.
My gosh, I'm loving what I'm seeing. There's just something about the color black that gets me excited. I love it. But honestly, I am so grateful, and we are so grateful for all of you who came out tonight. Usually it's just Dean and I sitting back in our studio recording to our little camera, but tonight it's very special. It's different because we have all of you here to support us and just be here with us for this very momentous moment. And so we want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
From the bottom of our hearts, literally. I think it's crazy because I always had a vision of doing something really big. I do music. I do a little music. And I always envisioned being at Madison Square Garden with like thousands of people. But what I realized is that sometimes we miss the little things and the progress that happens while you're starting, right? You may look at it like we're at the bottom, but in this past season, we've had to dig deep, like deeper than ever before. And for us to be here, for you guys to support us the way you guys support us tonight, you guys honestly don't know how much that means to us, man, because there was a point in time where I almost quit. There's a point in time where last year I almost jumped. Like it got serious. It got deep, and it's only by the grace of God, by myself and my beautiful wife, we're sitting here before you guys tonight. So to whoever it is that is going through situations right now and you feel like you're at your end, I'll say to you, always remember your why. And if you can just say yes, remember why you said yes. This is a result of my yes, of our yes, right? If we didn't say yes in the midst of our storms, we would not be before you guys right now. This is only the beginning, but I know what God has planned and what God has in store for us is going to elevate us and take us to higher heights. And I'm excited to do it with you guys. This is episode number 1, and we lit. It's episode number 1, and we lit. We lit. Today we're out here
celebrating Black love, Black unity, Black excellence, and Black power. So right now we're having our Black unity shoot where our Black kings.
Hey Dean, look, I can't even believe I'm about to say this right now, but I just can't take it anymore. Darnell and I haven't been on good terms for a really long time now, and I honestly just can't take it. Our marriage is dying, and we're in need of some real support, like from Black and married couples, you know? I know we're not the only ones that would benefit from this. You gotta do something, because there is a real need. We need this.
Studies show that over the last few decades, marriage has been a declining institution within the Black community. In 2020, only 30% of all African Americans were married, compared to the 48% of all Americans.
As a result of the pandemic, many couples were faced with the strenuous challenge of having to spend countless hours in isolation with their partner. This for many was not only difficult, but caused tension which could have been avoided with the support of a healthy community.
We often devalue the importance of a healthy community and the accountability that comes with it, without realizing that it is one of the key secrets to the success of a healthy marriage. So I ask you, why do marriage alone when you could be a part of a community like this?
At Black and Married, we've created a space where couples can connect, communicate, and collaborate.
Couples can also find community, build lifelong friendships, and gain a source of support. A place where your voice and story will be heard. So again, I ask, why do marriage alone when you could be a part of a community like this? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Black and Married. Black and Married.
When we were putting the show together, we made it very important. It was very important to us that we got couples that we, one, look up to and do life with, and couples that also inspire us in some way, shape, or form. And these were the 4 couples that really stood out. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to have them introduce themselves and tell a little bit of their story, and then we'll get into the rest of the night. Starting on my right.
Dominique Reed.
And?
David Reed.
And how long you guys been married, David? How long you guys been married?
6 years.
When's that? Oh, round of applause.
He's right.
When's the anniversary?
November 25th.
No, he knows. He knows. What year?
2016.
All right, that's love. And right behind them, we got
Khadijah.
And
I go by the name of Cake, Calvin Cake. You may know me as Cake.
all right. And how long you guys been married, Calvin Cake?
1 year and change.
We're
We're fresh.
And the wedding anniversary date?
September 10th.
September 10th, another September. That's love. Hey, let's go. And right to our left, we have...
Guys, the mic was off. My name is Leah, and you are?
First of all, let me put a disclaimer. The years...
How long you been married? Don't think.
No, I think it's, where we at? 1, 2,
Johnny.
5 years. 5 years.
5 years?
What about 6 years? Where we at?
6 years? Sean, you got married
4.
2018. What's the math? 2018. What's the math?
4 years.
Yay!
All right, and directly behind them we got. Don't figure it out. Don't cheat.
We got Chanel Mills here and
Mills,
let's go. And Mills, how long you guys been married?
long time.
Good answer.
I love it.
What was the year?
The same year. 2018.
All right, okay, so let's go into these questions. So, we all know that most women, from the day they were born, know what year they want to get married, know the dress they want to wear, all that good stuff. But what I want to know is, to my kings, what was it about this particular woman that made you say, I'm hanging up the jersey for life? Like, I want to know
What was it?
For life.
Hey, for life. For life. Can I get everybody to say for life?
For life.
No, louder than that. Let's go. For life. All right. For life.
All right, y'all. So with this beautiful, the mother of my precious daughter, with Lee, she just rode out. Like I remember for me, like, wait, y'all give me a sec.
A tap on the
we already in it. But no, but for real, like for I went through some craziness. For some people that don't know, like I had a big fall. I'll call it that, a big fall, and it actually it was really, really bad for Amanda and Samantha back there. They were there. They're the one that found me on the ground, bleeding. And I remember when they called Lee, and Lee came to the hospital, and I like everything was confusing until she got there.
Wow.
And then that's when I knew. So everybody relax.
Boy.
I know why I married this woman. Y'all relax.
Boy, you better let them know. You better let them know. All right, David, what was it about Dominique that made you say, you know what, it's over with. This is the one.
First thing, actually, it was for me. It was more times when I saw that she had my back, and I never went through an experience with that for the people I was dating, and that was like, you know, those times when you sit there and you just stare at somebody for like a minute, and then that person catches you, and they're like, "What happened? What are you looking at me for?" And you like,
mesmerized.
You know, it's that moment of feeling like, you know, that was like ready to like, and she was always there at my games, you know, at runs I was going to, and then somebody was talking crazy, and we had to go meet that person, and I didn't know this.
Dumb.
I didn't know this, but like we got to the spot, I'm like, yo, what up? And he looked at me like, what's up? And then I see something small just swinging. I'm like, what's going on? Like, yo, I was like, nah. For when she started swinging before I started swinging, that I was like, all right.
That's a
Let me
wrap.
put this
Let's
jersey
go.
up quick. Like, this is it. This is it right here. So, you know, that's when I knew that she was the one.
That's love. Mills, what we got, man? What was it that made you know Chanel was that one?
You know, sometimes you get whole heap of trial version first, so. Cause it's free, you get 3 days, you know, a couple. Nah, but for real, no, one time I was at my parents' house, and she was just walking down the steps, and I seen her like older, like it was weird. Like she looked like I pictured myself with her older. She was just walking down the steps. It was weird. So I was like, all right, cool.
Well, and just like that, the rest is history.
Weird.
That's love.
Yeah.
That's love. Cake, talk to me, man.
So for me, she was just different from anybody that I have ever met. It was like I've been through the mud, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you've been through that, you could really recognize somebody of her caliber. And, you know, her foundation was built on God, and we have the same, you know what I mean? The same, I would say, morals, and our families are like similar. So I said that, you know what? I always told myself I'm not talking to our next girl if she don't have a Bible in her house. You know what I mean? So in that time I knew, like, when we first met, we were just talking, you know, about our life story, and I seen that there was so much similarities. I said, this is the one.
That's love. That's love.
Alrighty, so ladies, we heard from your husbands, and so now we want to hear a little bit from you.
Might be a tough act to follow if I do say so myself.
So we just want to know a little bit about your story. So a little bit of how you guys met, and then the process of waiting to dating to finally walking down the aisle. What was that like? Tell us a little bit about your process. Anyone want to go first? Or
Let it all out.
With this guy.
Let it out, girl.
We have been together for 10, going on 11 years. We dated for 6 years before we got married.
6 years.
That's where
and we've
that's
now
from.
been married for 4 in year 5. But the process of waiting, let me tell you, it wasn't easy. 6 years is a long time, guys.
I know.
I'm starting where I'm going to start. Don't redirect me. I'm good. But, okay, fine. You guys want to know how we met? Guys, I messaged him.
Oh! She shot her shot. She shot her shot.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But
yep.
No.
Right, Nicky?
Talk to them.
Oh, no.
Actually.
Leah.
So to continue. No, but I messaged him, and we've been talking ever since. It wasn't even like, I'm looking for anything. It was just like, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, how are you? I see you all the time, but, like, we don't know each other. So that's how it started, and that's where it's been. He's my best friend. And let's go back to the 6 years, right? So 6 years is a long time.
Yeah.
But I am grateful that, because, guys, let me preface. We started talking when we were 20 years old.
Wow.
No one's getting married at 21. It wasn't happening. But it really grounded us, I think, being able to experience life with somebody, because that's literally what we did. Even though, we weren't married, we were experiencing life together. Like that day he was talking about when he had his accident. I left work. I was like, listen, lady, don't look for me to come back, because I'm not coming back. I gotta go. Got to the hospital, and nobody knew what was going on. But just to be there for him, that's all I needed to do. I just knew that I needed to be in the room. I just needed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's us. That's our story. I mean, nothing fancy. Nothing
How was the
special.
process of waiting for the ring? Tell us.
Guys, listen. It was hard, and I'm gonna if we're gonna be real, it was difficult. I would say you see people get engaged, and you see people together for 2 minutes, and they're like, wow, this is it. It was difficult.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Right.
And I'm looking at him like,
what are you waiting
hello?
for?
Hello. Yeah, the mic was off. You couldn't hear me. But it was definitely a process, and something that I had to look at myself for. Okay, why do I feel this way? Why is why do I have these feelings? Because at the same time, you also have to look at your situation and be like, okay, well, we're not in the place to get married, or we're not in the place to do certain things. Not even just necessarily marriage, in life. You look at other people doing stuff, and it's I'm not in the place. You might not be in the place to do something that somebody else is doing, right? So it's just how can I if you want to do that, how can I get myself to that place? What do I need to do? Do I need to go to counseling? Do I need to take a class? Do I need to learn something? So it was definitely a process for me. And so I will say it was hard, but getting to that place, once the ring did come, then I was like, oh, okay, that was it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I can agree.
That's it?
That's it. Anyone else want to chime in, ladies?
So we've been together in total for about 12 years now. This November will be 7 years. So how it started, it's funny because I was living in the States for a little bit, and so was he, and we didn't know each other at that time at all. But my cousins were close with his family. So my family knew his family, but I didn't know him. So it was not destined, but we just never crossed paths at the time. So I remember coming back from New Jersey, and he was back. My cousin was going to his church. I just remember her asking if I wanted to come to church with her. And I said, yeah, I'll come. And then I remember this car pulling up, and it was him. He came out the car, and I'm sitting there, I'm eating Popeye's chicken. I'm like, I hope this guy doesn't come to the car and talk to me. I pray he doesn't come to the car. Long and behold, he comes to the car and talks to me. I'm like, God. He's like, you gonna come inside? I'm like, no, I'm okay in here. He's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm not coming in. And he was persistent. He didn't stop until I came inside, so I ended up coming inside for a bit, just chilling. We were talking. When my cousin was done, we were chilling and all that stuff. And he's just like, our conversation was just easy. It was easy going. And one thing for me, how I really knew that this man was for me, from the first day, it just felt like forever. I felt comfortable. I felt safe. I felt like I knew him, even though we didn't know each other for that long. It just felt like I couldn't imagine a day without this man. I really couldn't. So for me, that's what it was. And, we spent a lot of days together. Like he's talking about his ball. He played ball. He's athletic. So ball was important to him. So many of the people that play ball with him or that know, they'll always see me at a ball run. They'll know. And of course it gets heated sometime, and I'm a person, I don't play about mine. So that's where he's coming from with that. But that's basically how our story went.
All right, Nelly.
Anyone else? Honey?
We've been together for about 8 years now. We met through mutual friends, and it was at a party. He came up to me and he was like, "Who told you to come outside like this?"
Oh, Sorry. Sorry. Sorry.
That was the line?
That was the line. Then, he said some other things in my ear, and then I didn't. And then I didn't see him for the rest of the night. But we had a mutual friend, and then he hit up his mutual friend the next day, and he was having some barbecue at his condo, and he was like, bring my girlfriend over to my barbecue, and I was like,
yeah.
The eye rolling.
So I went over, but we had a lot of mutual friends, so I was just like, no way. And he was like, I don't want her either, but, well, sure. I'm sure that's how you felt, but yeah. Anyways, I was like, no. He said no. And then we ended up having, like, one conversation that probably lasted for hours and hours. And then we just started seeing each other all the time. And then he claims I never went home. And he was just like, yeah, she never went home. And then... I don't know, one day he's just like, I know, you're going to cry if I have tings, so I guess I'll drop them. And I was like,
Lordy.
Is this you taking me serious?
I guess.
Then a year later, he proposed. And I was shocked, actually, that he was thinking about proposing. And you know how I knew he was going to propose because one day we were sitting with this man and he was married, and he asked the man, how do you know, like, if she's the one and you want to get married?
He's dropping.
He asked her that question. I'm looking at him like, well, did he really just ask that? I'm like, oh, shoot, okay. And we're actually on vacation. And then when we came back from vacation, we were walking past a ring store. And we walked in, and then he went up to the lady. He was like, oh, ma'am, I need some help. This is my mistress, though, but they have the same size hands.
Okay.
I just want to know what her ring size is. So, as you could tell, maybe it was his humor that got me.
Yeah. That's love.
Yeah.
And the rest was history.
They were talking about basketball earlier, and he did propose to me at a basketball game.
Dope.
I gotta tell you, it was super corny, but I loved it.
All eyes on you.
He went and got popcorn, put the ring in there, brought it to me. I was eating it, found the ring in there. I wasn't expecting that. He said some speech to me, but I didn't hear anything. So I was just like, yes. And then later on, I was like, what, why? And he was like, I told you when I proposed to you. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember. I don't remember any of it, babe. Sorry. And then, and I was like, when do you want to get married? He's like, I don't care. Just pick a date. I'll be there.
I love it.
And now we're here.
And now you're here. I love it. You're here. All right, Khadijah, talk to me.
All right,
So for us, we've been together for 6 years, married for 1 so far.
All right.
And when we met through a mutual friend. So it was actually a barbecue, his birthday. And I didn't want to go at first, actually. I was telling my friend, I don't want to go. Like, I'm tired. I'm just done. Like, she begged me for like an hour at my bedside. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So I'm like, all right, let's just go. I ended up going, and we spoke briefly because he was the man of the hour, right? So he was very important. He didn't have no time for me. So I met him at his birthday, and then I ended up meeting him again a couple days later, and it was like so weird. I'm like, oh, like you again. And we talked for a little bit, and then I seen him again actually for the third time. And the third time was when he ended up asking me for my Snapchat. Yeah, my Snapchat, like, like, what's your Snap? I'm like, okay, I gave it to him. And then we exchanged numbers, and then we texted for a little bit. And then, it was cool. We texted on and off, and eventually we were just inseparable. Like, we texted all the time. Like, me and him were just, like, I'm always giggly in my phone, and my friend's like, who are you texting? Like, who are you texting? I'm like, my bae. Like, I was telling you, I was like head over heels. Like, I love this guy, like, honestly. But, and then we ended up hanging We ended up hanging out one time, and we had like a really good, deep conversation. And I think we just really clicked from that time. And I just knew that like he was different from like other people, and we really could connect. And that's hard, and that's very rare to do. And we did that, and like literally we've been together ever since. Yeah, basically that's kind of how our story went.
Left some things.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna just keep some things out.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy because growing up, we had older role models, but we didn't have community of, especially black young people that were married to like kind of give us guidance and like show us the way. It was all on like our parents, and they do marriage a little bit different from how we do marriage these days, you know what I'm saying? But I never experienced that. So growing up, it was kind of weird. Like I looked at marriage like, oh, that's for my parents. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't see true representation of my age bracket in my race being married. And it's funny because I had a young guy ask me the other day, how did you know she was the one? And to be honest, for me, how I knew Nicky was the one, I couldn't picture my future without her in it. Like I didn't want to imagine my life without this woman. Like it was like impossible for me to do that. And it's funny because there's something about getting with your purpose partner that like breaks everything. Because before Nicky, I was just out here, just lost. Like, you know, I'm just wandering. And post Nicky, it's like I found identity. Like it's weird. Like some people say you gotta get married and know A all the A to Z. But for me, it was I knew I was ready. And I'll say this for men, like it's so important we understand and know we're ready for this thing. I've seen a lot of marriages like sabotage because someone stepped out because they thought it was cute. Someone stepped out on a trend, like black love is a trend right now, and they didn't work on themselves. So I asked this to say, did any one of you guys do premarital counseling? Because for us, we came up in an era where counseling was like unheard of. Like our parents from Jamaica and stuff, and counseling. I thought about counseling. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so we to this day we haven't done that. And I just want to know, have any of you guys done that? And what were the benefits of doing that?
So yes, we did. For a little, tried it, but I feel it didn't really work. You know, counselor would fall asleep on we and we all of them thing there, and you know, but just you know,
that's the first.
It's just overbearing, you know. No, I'm being real. But
how long was your session? How long was the session for?
Maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
So that That boy said.
That's kind of long.
But no, it's just us really
Yeah.
going back there, just observing what's going on, listening, I guess. But sometimes it gets overbearing, you know? So sometimes I feel counseling, though, is more, it adds more fuel to the fire if you're not ready than anything else, you know what I mean? So with that being said, though, I realize that counseling, you guys both have to be ready. You guys have to really want it more than you want your own way, because a counselor could come. A counselor can't tell you really how to run your life and what to do, because you'll just listen for the hour, and then when they're gone to their wife or their husband, and you guys are still in the mess. So you guys got to really be ready, and, you know, that's what it is.
That's love.
I think for us, counseling was important for us because in our relationship, we had a lot of layers that needed to be unraveled and peeled off. So by us going to counseling, what it allowed us to do is, one, like you said, there had to be an agreement that we both were going to be intentional about going to counseling. Because at first, I was like, because me and Dean, we come from the same background, so I'm like, I called Dean like, dog, she want to go counseling. Is she don't like counseling?
Talking about fam.
Talking about fam. Yo, counseling. But then it's a selfless thing, and I had to get to that point where we needed to. There are some things in me that I needed to get out, and likewise because of our individual past, because it's two individuals becoming one, right? And before, like, I didn't want things to keel over on while we're married. I would rather things start to unlearn in the engagement stage, because people think engagement and marriage are two different things, two different monsters. So when we went to counseling, we were able to see some flaws that I was just like, oh, we'll get over that. This thing in me, I'll get over it. Oh, Sean, we weren't on the same page, and certain ways I used to talk, certain things I used to say, I didn't know that they were triggers until we went into that stage of counseling, and we were able to sit with somebody that knows nothing about us, not a friend, not even our own pastor at the time, and they were able to see, like, well, you said that, but when you say that to her means this. And then from there, I was like, damn, me getting into this, I have no idea what I'm doing. But counseling helped me see these things and be able to attack some of the flaws right out the gate and not wait for it.
I agree. We just were not, there was things that we weren't on the same page about. Like things that like, okay, well, I want to do this, but it's just like, oh, I never want to do that. Like, for example, one thing was, for me, was a TV in the bedroom. I was like, yeah, no. He's like, why not? What's the problem? I was like, absolutely, I want to sleep. Like, what? Yeah. LeBron
Sean wants to watch LeBron.
I don't care. That's all right. Let him play. You can sit in the living room while he's playing. Like, it was like little things like that, things that you don't realize. That you think like, oh, well, this is how I live now. Like he said, it's two people coming together to be one. So it's little things like that you do, like, okay, this is how I live, but this is how I live. But we're coming together trying to make it work, and we're just pushing things together. It doesn't make sense. So for me, counseling was having that open conversation beforehand. Like he said, I'm just reiterating everything this man just said. But having that open conversation, thank you, before, so that when you get into the marriage stage, that the conversation is a little bit easier. Even just opening up things that you had never talked about before. So when you get to that marriage stage, it's like, okay, we talked about this before, so it's like, okay, and it's not uncomfortable. It's not, this is a make or break. It's things that you already had in mind, so it's like, okay, we can move forward together on this.
Right now, on like all over social media, you see the good. Like, you only see the highlights of people's marriages. Oh, I took a photo shoot. Oh, we're traveling, all that stuff. Nobody really shows the downs. Like, they only show the ups. What are some challenges that you guys are either facing right now or have faced and overcome in your marriage?
Well, for starters, when you're married for that much of a time, being so young, the challenges are almost endless. And like you get married, that honeymoon stage, most people when they get married, they think that honeymoon stage is a forever thing. It's not. It's trials and tribulations, and the beauty of all that is trying to like navigate your way through the trials and tribulations. You have two people, two different jobs, two different preferences, like everything coming together. The time I go to work, the time he goes to work, that becomes an issue. People he works with, people that I work with, that becomes an issue. Just two lives becoming one. We got through a lot of challenges that were very difficult. One of my toughest ones being that I'm a mother now of a 1-year-old. Postpartum depression. Probably the toughest thing that
It's okay.
Man.
It's okay.
You know, sometimes when you're known for being such a tough person, nobody really sees you as soft enough to take pain, but it hurts. Everything I went through hurt. Postpartum depression was tough because I didn't even know who I was. I'm like, who is this? As I'm projecting something, I'm like, yo, I don't even know who this is. I don't know her. Losing myself, feeling like, who am I? And, you know, being married at such a young age too, dealing with postpartum depression, like, he's not equipped for that. Nobody teaches you as a man how to deal with that. So it's just like, that creates a rift, that creates some space in the marriage.
sure.
And it's like, you have to learn each other all over again. You lose each other, you come back. Like, it's tough, but I'm telling you, if it wasn't for the grace of God, if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here today. So that's definitely one of the major ones that I've overcome.
Well, I'm just going to say that we always, one thing that we agree on is we were friends first.
Yep.
So that's what saves us.
Yep.
So we actually like each other.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, we always say, if we don't work out, we're always going to be really good friends. But a challenge that has been consistent in our relationship is if we have a disagreement, he likes to shut down and I like to talk. Right? So he'll be like, shut down completely, and I'll just be in his ear. So like, we always have that back and like that. We always have that challenge. But now I'm learning to respect his space, and hopefully he'll come back to me the next day. But I'm not waiting more than a day. I'll respect your space until tomorrow. But but that's been like a consistent challenge of ours, and I feel like you could view it as something small, but it has become something big with us because it's like, I want to talk. I want to just iron it out now. I don't like to go to bed mad. He can peacefully go to bed mad. He'll go watch basketball, eat food. He's like, actually, I like it when we're not talking. It's very peaceful right now. Meanwhile, I'm upstairs slamming doors, mad, mumbling to myself. Well, he's having the time of his life because he doesn't have to talk. So that I'll say that's a challenge in our marriage. Would you like to add on to that?
Okay, here we go.
Testimony. Yeah. So it's like she wants to talk right now. I want to hear the problem and then just leave me alone so I can process it and fix it. She wants to just keep talking.
I want to respond.
Right? She wants to keep talking, but when she's talking now, the problem is lost. The original problem's lost. No, it sounds funny, but it's true, right?
Too much going on at that point now.
Right? It sounds, trust me, when she leaves and she's vexed and upstairs, I'm like, now I don't even know
Why?
what the problem is. Right? Just tell me what it is and leave me alone. Yo, me never like when you do that. All right. Now I have to sit there and be like, yo, sure, maybe. But now she's keep talking. Now I don't even remember what she doesn't like. Right? And now she's vexed and me have peace. So, really and truly, it's only peaceful if it's basketball season. When baseball and them thing there on, me vex. Yeah, me can't go nowhere, right? And it's different, yo. I'm used to, like, when she met me, I'm in a condo, so I'm by myself. Yo, I love my space. I love being alone. It doesn't bother me at all. Right? Surely sure. Right? But she just wants to talk right now, noticing that it's not going to solve the problem. Like, babe, I hear you. Just tell me what pissed you off, and I want to fix it.
Yeah.
Right? She wants me to just, what do you want me to do?
Respond now.
You want me to fix it now?
Yeah.
Look like... Yo, here on... Sandra said, we ain't have nothing nice for said, don't say nothing.
Right.
Hey.
That's my mother. So, can't fix it right now. It's a build-up problem. It's not like, you know what I mean? Usually it's a build-up problem that you get annoyed of and you explode now. So tell me the problem and I want to fix it, but I need to process.
I hear that. I'm going to put Babe on the spot, though, before you ask your question.
I didn't ask my question.
Let me put you on the spot. What are some... Oh, God. What are some challenges that you face, that we faced in our marriage that has risen up in the last 4 years?
Mine's loud and clear.
Don't go too hard. Just take time with me, all right? The people that are here, like, take
oh, no.
Take time. Be nice, all right? Don't throw me all the way on.
I can't even think.
Nothing. There we have it, guys. Nothing. Nothing.
Some challenges. I think it's more so just in our recent, season of life. A lot of things have just become more annoying, I guess, and just harder to deal with because when life throws you, situations and darts, you have to now adjust and things just get different and you start reacting to things that never used to bother you before. So I said this on a podcast the other day that I wished he would carry the laundry basket to the laundry room. I'll do the laundry, I'll fold, but bring it back to the room. Any little thing, simple like that. And he caught a tude because I help around, but the laundry basket's been sitting there for quite some time. You didn't forget. It's in your face. It's in everybody's face. So it's like little things like that where I'd be like Hulk Hogan. I'm going up, I'm going down. I had no problem with it. But then now I have 2 kids and I'm tired. I need you to now do this.
Trust me, the strength of a woman is wild.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
So I think it's just, also I'm learning how to communicate better. I was a person who was, not to say a mute, but I can handle situations very well. I don't speak much, so if you know me, you will know nothing about me, one of those kinds of things. You just know what I tell you, and so I will go through things and I will sit with it, but it doesn't work for him. Similar, he likes to speak. He wants to get it out immediately. He'd be looking at me like, are you 6? Let's talk. Come on. You don't have any words to say? Yeah. Kind of disrespect. But
use your words. Use your words.
But I've been learning to communicate better. Have I?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was, I think, one of our challenges because now I'm being a little bit more vocal and sometimes, he doesn't love what I have to say and you're a lady, hold your place. But I am doing better, and I think just learning how to communicate better and making sure how I'm feeling is more clear. Mm-hmm. So that came with our season.
Can I say something real quick?
100%.
About that, this is for the men out there. One thing that I had to learn is the evolution of love language changing.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Love language, it changes. And if you're not keeping up, you'll be doing the right thing wrong for the longest time. So it's important. Lee and I actually had, a couple weeks ago, we had to actually sit down
redo the test?
Do the test.
Yep.
And then I realized, I'm like, no wonder why you hate me, because I didn't even know. I had no idea. Because I was doing my best, but I was attacking the wrong thing, right? So it's important, men, be intentional about finding out these things, because it will save you a lot of time, a lot of stress.
So question, this is actually one of the questions.
One of our questions.
Do we know each other's love language? And are we operating in that? I don't even know my love language, to be honest.
Do we know our own love?
Yeah, so do you guys understand each other's love language? Are you loving each other the right way?
Yes, but I talked about being selfless. It is a selfless thing as well, because what she may like, what her love language is, so one of her things is touch. Like all the time and affection.
Yeah.
Touch her, Sean. Touch her, Sean.
I'm like, yo, like holding hands in the mall. I'm just like, we don't do that. We don't hold hands in the mall, But again, so it's a selfless thing. So what she may like, or what makes her work, may be the thing that I just hate. This is hate.
About to say it.
We said hate. So I just had to learn to really
Adapt.
ask God for grace to allow me to humble myself and be humble myself and really be intentional about okay, let me really work on that part of the love language, because at the end of the day, I won't say that, because that's not always true. But at the end of the day, having her well and fulfilled, it adds so much value to our marriage, and so that we have to do it that way.
Yes,
yeah, that's true, because with me, I like to do things a certain way. So, her birthday would come up, and this would come up, and that would come up, and I'll be like, all right, yo, let's go all in, let's go all out. The most important time for her in that entire day is when we get home in the bed and we chill. And I'm just like, oh, so it's quality time. But I'll be so busy. So I was doing it wrong. I was so busy all the time. I was just like, yeah, man, but if I do this big and
and gifts.
Yeah, and this and that. Well, she'd always just be like, thank you. I was like, what's wrong with this woman? Does she hate me? Fine, walk on. But then I realized she literally doesn't care about none of this, man. What she wants at the end of the day is just a husband that's available to her, and that's more than the gifts, the events, all this, everything, right? So it's learning, though. It took 4 years. It's a real process, because I'm always just on go time, but it's a real process. Are you guys operating in that?
For us, it's a process. For me, I'm very I talk a lot in this marriage. I communicate a lot, and he's the opposite. He's so. For me, I stated a lot, but at the same time, it's because I'm so open with my words.
David, it's in the bag, baby. It's in the bag.
That's right. No, but I talk a lot about what I want, but lately I've been forgetting to ask what he needs. It's been really you think about yourself as a woman, I need this, but I just maybe a couple months ago stopped and was I need to figure out what my husband needs, because I can't be worrying about me, and he's being neglected. So we sit down, we talk about our love languages. I'm working on it. That's what I mean. It's a process, because you're so used to, for me, I'll love the way I think somebody wants to be loved, and now I'm learning to, like Sean said, be selfless and love the way he needs to be loved. So process.
All right, Mills, you got something, man.
I gave up on the response. Give him the space.
No, I'm practicing my, you're right, babe. That's what I'm practicing now.
That makes me mad.
That works. You're right.
What? You know,
Provoking me.
Ho.
you're dismissing me.
No, I said you're right, baby.
No, you don't mean it.
How you know when me mean it, when me don't mean it?
You never mean it.
You see? Can't win.
Can't win. Can't win.
Anyway.
Can't win.
Everybody skipped over this one thing. The picnic them. Yeah, the kids.
I was about to talk about that. That's my next thing, bro.
Me have it. No, more. Me and my wife, 5 picnic together. Total, between the both of us. Right? It's a O still, yeah, it's a O. Right? It's a whole lot of them, right? They take up your time, right? So when you met your wife, you know, what heap of church people in that? I have to fix up my argument. Me can't talk?
Talk,
me not gonna cuss now. Yeah, but you know when you meet your wife, you know, and she look a certain way, she just wake up or she just come out of the shower, you know? You just want, you know? You know what I mean? Right? You know what I mean, right? Everybody know what I mean?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right, we don't want to leave out nobody. All right. But now, we have a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 12-year-old who just ask questions for no reason sometimes. Right? So I play hide and seek in my own house. Eh? Me I play hide and seek, forget front when me done pay for already. Eh? That don't make no sense. No. Hold on. I lie me I tell?
Nah.
Right? Maybe I'm not wording it correctly on the want it's sound, but some talk. Right? So now a little bit of that is missing. She's vexed, I'm vexed, because two of us want that, but the kids' needs come first. Right? Me vex, I watch TV. She vex, I deal with the picnic of them. Everybody just vex. Only the picnic of them alone happy. Eh? It's always the people who not pay no bills are the happiest people. That don't make no sort of sense, right? Right? And
It's bad.
I don't do the counseling thing. I don't knock it, but my dad was like a Jamaican soldier, and it's just, in our culture, it's just like frowned upon, right? But my mom, she talks straight. She'll tell her if she's right. She usually tell her says she's right or she need to fix something, or me.
No, sorry.
Yeah, me, right? She talks straight. She doesn't hold no punches, and we could both talk to her and get honest answers. So that's like my free counselor. So, right? Yeah, she's not gonna be like, oh yeah, just because I'm her son. She's like, no, yo, you mess up, go fix that, straight, right? So that helps.
I'm just mad the kids are C blockers.
Yes. Yo, me can't talk? All right, so one day I'm not work.
Yeah.
Right? And some days...
Story time.
Can't talk?
Story time.
All right. One day I'm not work, and she could work from home sometimes. All right? Baby asleep. All right?
Let's
Just
go.
fresh sleep. Give Zoe, 20 minutes for going on deep sleep. You know? As they would say, deep REM. Yeah, deep REM. Right? So she come down and tiptoe down. Can you imagine that? My wife have a tiptoe in our house. Right? She had tiptoe to come downstairs. Oh, she's sleeping. Yo, as soon as... Yeah. When... I say, yo, you know what? I'm not even about to want it again.
Yep.
Because if this interruption are going to keep happening, No. Yeah, kids are a big thing. And my wife and my mom told me the same thing. They're gonna leave you when they're older. So we gotta put each other before them more times, right? But we're raised to like take care of the kids, make sure everything's happy. Them no business about none. Them have everything, right? Them have internet. Them have everything. If you don't have a toy that you think you want, go up on the internet and look when people play with it. You have it, right? But all joke aside,
yeah.
We have to put each other before the kids sometimes. So I have like an 80-20 rule.
But I feel it's not, we can't blame it all on the kids, though. No. You know what I mean? Sometimes I feel women have this thing that they feel that this is a chore. You know what I mean? And when you look at this thing as a chore, your mindset is like, oh, I just got to do this. Or when you realize that it's something your husband needs, it's a different energy. You know what I mean? It's very different. So we can't blame it all on the kids. We have to realize that, you know what I mean? You have to put your mindset to say yes, you know?
Okay, but you know what? When you're
yes.
Listen, when you're a mom, okay, your load is 10 times harder, okay? So you gotta cook, you gotta clean.
Yes.
You gotta take care of the kids.
Yes.
And then when it comes time for sexy time, you're tired. You don't have time for it. You don't want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? You gotta let it flow sometimes. But you don't want to neglect your husband. But sometimes you gotta understand that we're just tired. That's just what it is.
That's literally what it is.
But if your wife is mad, she'll be up till all 7 in the morning. The minute you guys are good. So sometimes you really want them to mad.
Real thing.
But honestly, it's all fun and games, but I don't think we understand the role that our wives play when it comes to motherhood. Like, I see Nicky, when we gave birth to our first daughter, go from, I don't know what I'm doing with this kid, the first like couple seconds, to in about 5 minutes being on ultimate mom mode. And to see that progress and process has been like one of the most beautiful things to watch. What I'm learning though is, even though I might be out and preparing for all of this and all of that stuff, when I get home, she still needs me there with the kids. Because I'll tell you this, when she's out and I'm with the kids, I would trade it for everything. I know, I would go, give me a triple shift, right? But to stay home with the kid, it's not a joke. Give me a triple shift, or other than staying home with my 2 girls sometimes, because it gets, in regards to me being tired, I am done after that day. The other day I had to tell her, I'm like, yo, fam, I rate you. I'm sorry for everything. When I do whatever I do, I'll come home and I got the kids, because I understand this is something serious. It's something, it's a lot of time that gets put into it as mothers and what they got to go through, especially like holding down the family. Like while we're out there doing what we got to do, they really hold it down and hold us together. So we got to just remember to show up for them as well. Give them a break. Sometimes it's just like, all right, babe, you know what? Fam, go do what you need to go do. I got the kids, because it's draining, right? It's mad draining. How you feel, though?
We would love that. I promise you. If you try that, we would love that. So, good.
I'm on the same page with you.
You're on the same page as me, right? Yeah.
I am loved. I am confident. And I was made with divine purpose. Everything I desire, I attract. I overcome my fears by following my biggest dream. I am more than enough. I have the power to be the difference and create the change I want to see. I am the head and not the tail. Above and not beneath. A lender and not a borrower. A winner, not a quitter. My failures will never define me, because I will rise above and be everything I was created to be. My black is proud. My black is strong. My black is beautiful. My black is excellent. Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. I'm black and I'm proud. I'm black and I'm proud. Put your fists in the air one time. Black king, black queen on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Black king, black queen.
Let's get it.
Okay, so we're just gonna wrap up things here, but I have one more question. If there was one thing that you had to apologize for to your husband or to your wife, what would that thing be?
I'll give you guys some time to think about that. I'll talk. So our journey, we didn't get into our story because, like I said, it's not really about us tonight. But I put her through the mud before marriage. Like it was a lot, and what was happening was I wasn't ready for marriage, but I knew she was the one, but I knew I wasn't ready for that decision. So what I did was held her there while I was just like, I'm afraid of this because I just don't know this. So I'm going to do everything in my power not to deal with this, right? And I was out there. I was just around here, there, and everywhere. And all the while knowing that deep down inside, she was that person. It was just pride and me not being at the place I thought I needed to be at. And to see her actually still stand by me through all of that. We never dated, so that's our story. My thing was like, well, we're not dating. I understand how she felt about me though, but I ran from it, man, because I just wasn't ready. That's why I said, like, it's important for a man to be ready, because when I was ready and I made the decision, I've never looked back, right? So it's a decision I made with my chest, and I was never nervous. I just always knew that she was the one, but I ran from it because I never saw examples of what this thing looked like. Only my parents, who I looked at, no offense, but it's like grandparents. You know what I mean? Like, it's like all love, like it is. We just didn't see it like that, right? So because we didn't have true representation, we were just out here kind of lost. We had each other though, but we were just on the same journey. And it's funny when we all snapped into our senses at the same time. And it's funny because community really changes things. I'll tell people, if you really want to do this, and this is the reason why we started this initiative, is to do it and build community and have community behind you, because when you have accountability, it changes things. So when we got on the phone and I started switching our talk to, yo, this girl, whatever, blah, 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 get me out of this, to, no, I really want to marry this girl. Everything, no, hey, I won't talk. Let's relax. Let's calm down. It's not about that tonight. But it honestly shifts something, and it propelled us to just be the men that we are today. So I think that is super important. So that's something that I apologize to you for. We've never actually talked about that because it was just a thing. Like, we're just going through the motions. We're young, so like I always put it on. I was young and I was out there. You know what I mean? Like, but honestly, like I'm sorry for dragging you through the mud, but I realize now that 100% without a shadow of a doubt that you are my forever. So it is what it is.
I knew it already, guys. I knew it. I just played along. I knew it the whole time that he loved me so much. And so I just played my role. I sat there, and here I am, guys. Did it. But is there anything that I am apologizing for? Yes. I think going back to the love languages, I do know your love language, and I think, just like some of the other mothers spoke about, we're tired, we're busy, he likes physical touch and that sort of thing. And so it's hard to always give that to you, the way I know you would need that.
Tonight.
You guys understand. But
no long talking tonight.
I think if I stop seeing it as a chore and potentially,
put up my foot
as a need,
as a task, I can better achieve that for you. And so I do apologize for always blaming it on the kids, because there are times when it can be time, but you're tired. But I'm going to try better, and I apologize for not always listening to you. Sometimes I want to do my own thing, but I apologize for that, and we're going to do good. We're going through seasons, and we got this.
It's us. All right, anybody else?
Okay, for me as a person, I'm very to myself, right? I'm very quiet, And I'm very introverted, right? So I enjoy being alone, like you mentioned too. And I'm in my own bubble, right? So like for him, he's the total opposite. He's very outgoing. He can say what's on his chest and he has no problem voicing his opinion. And I'm not like that. I don't like confrontation. So when he has an issue, he will tell you. He does not care how you feel, if it's gonna bother you. He doesn't care. He'll just say it, right? And for me, it makes me so uncomfortable. And I noticed that I like to just kind of hold things in and not say what's bothering me. Until he has an issue, I'll be like, you know what? Last week you did this to me. And he's like, hold up. You can't do that. It doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? You can't do that. But for me, I noticed that I can't just hold things in and kind of just wait till things blow over. I got to kind of just say it in the moment and say, you know what? This bothered me, and, let's talk about it instead of just holding things in, because I notice when those things happen, it blows up in your face, basically. It blows up in your face, and then we're dealing with multiple issues. Right. So if I'll just kind of just say it in the moment and we'll deal with it right then and there, then, we could just kind of solve issues better that way.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm apologizing for. So, yes.
So for me, not many people know, but I'm just straight to the point type of guy. Like she said, I'll just say what's on my mind. Like, I'd rather be happy than to know I can't sleep because this is eating me, right? And I find that sometimes, like, when we first started dating, she had a problem with the way how I spoke. Like, me now, that's just my nature. I'm just a very stern person, and I speak, a bit harsh, with authority. And sometimes she feels like I'm yelling at her or I'm attacking her. And she's a little sensitive in that area. But me as a person, I just got to realize that, it's all about knowing your wife. And I've learned to tone that down a bit. But she also understands the type of person that I am. But I just want to say, I'm sorry if I speak to you in a manner sometimes that is displeasing. Because I realize that, if you're not treating your wife well, God is not pleased with how, with us, you know what I mean? So, just really being emotionally available for my wife, I feel like sometimes I could kind of brush things off and I'm hearing her, like I'm just not the type of person that will jump. So she'll tell me something like, oh, babes, I want this. And I heard her, so I'm going to do it. But I'm just not going to jump for her and say, okay, engage. So I'm just sorry for, the way I speak to you and, certain things at certain times.
I love it.
Sorry for nothing, brother.
And on my time yet, big man. I see my kagara.
One of the things that I'm probably really sorry for is, again, being young and being married, nobody really tells you how to do this marriage thing. You kind of have to figure it out day by day. And so I feel like I wasn't a great listener to my husband, your wants and your needs. I don't think I was the best listener. And I'm deeply, deeply, deeply sorry for that. That caused a rift in our marriage. It caused us to kind of, almost like not know each other. Like I didn't know who this man was and he didn't know who I was. Just off of not listening to your spouse can really cause a lot of that. And I really, really want to apologize for that, and I pray that I become a better listener day by day.
Thank you for your apology. I'm going to apologize for not seeing you. From the time we've been together, understanding you for who you were, from what you went through, myself, I could say I am not used to aggressiveness, sometimes, I like the softness. That's how I was brought up with. I lost my way, and I needed help, and I didn't know who to turn to. And I came to a place where I felt like I didn't want to be here anymore. But by you praying, and for God to step in to bring me back here, even when I didn't think there was any way. So I'm sorry for hurting you. And I mean that. I love you.
Man, I go make me ball.
Wow, and can I speak on something? So I don't know how many people saw the commercial, but in the beginning of the commercial, there's a woman that's basically saying, "Dean, we need this," and we don't go into details and all that stuff, but that woman, that was basically Dominique's story, and sometimes we grew up together, and sometimes we don't understand the importance of checking in with one another. Like we don't take it serious. We say, they're married, they're cool as family. We see them when we see them. But it's so good to have community and being able to tap in with one another to pick up when one is down. When one member is down, like we're all down. And I remember going to their house one day and, man, like I think I prayed like I never prayed before with these guys. And to see, I'm telling you guys, to see them here right now is growth and shows what community does. Like, you guys, people may not understand their story. One day they'll tell their story, but this is a true testament that God is still God, right? And a lot of times we forget and we take God out the middle of everything we're doing and our relationships and then wonder why they don't work. But we have to always remember that he is the center. He needs to be the center. At the center, as he leads, we follow. And I think that makes the difference in true marriage. And I'm proud of you guys, man. You guys know I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. And there's a reason why you guys are here, because at the end of the day, millions and the nation is going to be saved by your testimony and where God brought you to, where he brought you from and where he's bringing you to. So always remember that. Always remember your why. Always remember why you got into this, and may God do the rest, man. Sean?
I would say apologizing to my wife. I mean, I do that daily. But
that's a regular for me. Whatever.
hate to break the mood, but something I do. But one thing, I'll let you guys in one special moment. For some that don't know, we went through a whole miscarriage journey, trying, failing, bleeding, nasty, gross. It's nasty, gross. It was that. But that happened. But wait, to bring us back, that happened after my accident, right? And in that moment, when she was going through that, because of my anxieties, she went through some of it alone. Mm-hmm. I remember the morning she went to work, and she's like, the pain is just unbearable, and I can't, like, I have to go to the hospital. I was so terrified of hospitals that I had to let her go by herself, and I like, that thing is like in here, like it's stuck with me forever. So I would say, babe, like, I mean, this is not something that I haven't apologized before. It's something that, and that's what I'm saying, when you have somebody that's again, marriage is a journey where you learn each other, you learn things. And she easily could have took that and be like, yo, you're not a man. Like, honestly, she could have took that and be like, but she saw me in that and said, I'm going to still walk with you as we get through this journey. Tell you, I was terrified of hospitals, terrified of like anything doctor. And to this day, I'm still dealing with it and going through this journey. And so, but in that moment, I let my fear override the need for me to be there in that moment. And I'll say, like I said before, is like I do apologize for that. And I want to thank you for leading in that moment, right? Because people just think it's always the man up front. In that moment, I needed her to be 70-30, right? And I want to thank you, and again, as well, apologize, be like, yo, babe, you held it down. And I look at Ava, and I look at our miracle, and I see what a blessing it is, and I see how you are mommying, like, man, it's you're just great, and it is what it is.
Yes, sir.
It is what it is.
Yes, sir.
Not I don't have to. Okay, well, I mean, hear me racking my brain like, what am I apologize for? I'm perfect. I'm just kidding. No, but talking about your like anxieties and stresses, especially like medical anything, I want to apologize for, because I'm mommying, not being present with you in your stresses, in the things that worry you when it comes to that. I want to apologize for being tired and being like, okay, no, I hear you, but what is Ava doing? What like being there, but being in the moment, but not being present with you and what you're saying. So I want to apologize for that and know that I'm still here. I got you. Are we straight? We good? All right.
All right. Okay. And but Sean talked about something. I want to touch on it quick before I get to you guys. I remember when Sean called me when he was at the hospital when you guys lost your baby. That was the first time I ever heard Sean cry like that. And a lot of times in our community, we don't talk about what that does to the men, right? Especially men that want to be fathers, right? And love children, right? I remember he called me and it was crazy. So fast forward, Sean comes to my house one day and Sean shows me his phone and it's an ultrasound. I couldn't be more happy. Like, I was jumping for joy. Like, we were jumping together, man. Because when he cries, he gets me. Like, even when he fell down in the hospital that time, I was in BC. I called Nicky like, yo, Sean's gonna die, man. Like, no, Mom, no, you're gonna die. Like, literally. No. And then, so we're talking to Sean, and we're just like, yo, Fab, you're good. And then he's crying. The hospital like, you guys don't talk to him. He's crazy. So we just have that bond, right? And it's funny, like, you never know. Like, even in the midst of, like, death, sometimes there's life. I'll make reference to this. So the day he came to my house and showed me his 3-month-year-old girl, well, Leo's pregnant here for 3 months, Nicky goes downstairs. So Nicky's pregnant, 11 weeks. Nicky goes downstairs. I'm just like, all right, she's going to the washroom. Then Nicky calls me. I'm like, yo, fam, what's going on, man? We're celebrating Sean right now. We talking, like, come upstairs, man. Why are you not jumping? There's blood. I said, oh, God. Okay. So I go downstairs. We have a miscarriage. Basically that day was the start of the miscarriage. And again, I go back to community. Even though it was heartbreaking news for us, I was still in the midst of that, some way, somehow, able to go upstairs. Sean didn't have a clue what happened and still celebrate them. Right? And I feel like we need more of that in our community. We need more like selfless acts in our community. And we just gotta, as blacks, we gotta do better with supporting. Like, I'm talking about intentional support. Like, you guys, there's a lot of people I have not talked to one day in my life in this room, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart, because you guys didn't have to go out of your way to be here. You know what I'm saying? And it's that I cherish. And I say this to say community is everything. This is what we're trying to build here. These are just some of our stories. We want to hear your stories one day, and this is what it's about. It's building black love, black unity, black power, black excellence, black legacy. You guys already know? Nelly, Mills? One thing you can say sorry for, and then we wrap this bad boy up.
Okay. I want to apologize for taking so long to put myself aside, and I took way too long to put myself aside to realize that we all communicate differently and we all process things differently, and I should have been able to give you your space sooner, and not only give you your space, but also realize that you needed me to be a little bit more feminine, less aggressive, so you could be more vulnerable to me, because when I'm so aggressive, that actually makes you step away from me. And I'm no excuses, but like meeting you, you know what I went through, so my aggression comes from a lot of my past, and it did take a while for me to make my walls break down. Still working on it. Still have bursts of aggressiveness sometimes, but I definitely am working on being more in touch with my feminine side, and not always being on being so defensive and saying oh, I have to do everything by myself. I gotta do this. Just relax and realize that I do have a good man to lead me. So.
All right, Mills.
I'm trying.
Mills. Mic check.
Me have whole it for apologize, but how much time we have?
2 minutes, brother.
Right.
2 minutes, brother.
One thing. One thing I have to apologize for is when my wife does stuff good, she wants I might be using the wrong word, not praise, affirmation. Thank you. I like that shirt. That's still. She likes affirmation, but no excuses. I was grown like I said, my pops is a soldier. You know what I mean? So certain things that you're supposed to do that you don't get, you shouldn't get a sticker for it. You know what I mean? And that's on me. I shouldn't put that on you. You know what I mean? So I coach basketball and stuff. Kids make a layup and they're doing sleepyhead or whatever. I'm you guys are celebrating doing something that you practice every day to do. The score is 2-0. You're celebrating. You know what I'm saying? Right? But my wife does stuff and she says you only say something when I do something bad. But I don't know any better. You're doing everything great. So I don't want you to change that. Right? But when you do something wrong, I feel okay, babe, but she wants me to affirm her. Right? Am I correct? Mm-hmm. Right? Right? When she does something good. But in my head, I'm wired different. We're wired different. Yeah. I don't want her to tell me, oh, yeah, thank you, babe. I appreciate that. I feel I'm supposed to do certain things. You know what I mean? Let me know when I'm doing something wrong so I can fix that. And I think that she's thinking the same way, or she should be thinking the same way on a site work. All right? So I see you. Come live with you. But I see you, and I'm going to try and change that sooner than later. All right? But yeah, I apologize for that. I also apologize that, sometimes the kids them piss me off. I'm gonna take it out by you.
He does do that. I said it's my fault.
Yeah. All right, I apologize.
Serious, brother.
When she tells you thank you, have you ever really like processed when she said thank you to you, or did you just like, oh yeah?
I don't process it. No.
Next time when she says thank you, just think about what you done.
But
Try it. He said try it.
I'm gonna try, but I feel like
really think about it.
No, I'm gonna try.
And when she says thank you, you be like, wow, like you really appreciate. You might not feel that way, but you probably may feel giddy inside, low key.
I don't.
No, you're right.
No, I honestly, I don't know. Maybe something's wrong with me. I don't know.
You didn't try like he said.
Try and think about it.
It's a mindset. For them, it's a mindset. You have to understand, it's just like you at work. You're doing whatever. And your boss says, good job today. You just start to move. So sometimes it's just one of them type of thing for them.
Yeah.
For them, not for you.
Okay.
So it's just sometimes, even if they're doing bad, say, babes,
Yeah.
you know what, I like what you did today. To make her do good.
Okay, yeah, I got you. I got you, baby.
All right, guys. Could we put a round of applause for Stefano? Did you guys enjoy that? Did you guys enjoy it? It's all right.